l'espoir est un plat.
TikTok loves showing its users the most stupid videos because they piss everyone off and get the most amount of comments on the platform. However, the other day I was on TikTok trying to find a recipe for homemade baby oil when I stumbled across an account called Elaine Carroll's Kitchen. And after spending 2 hours watching her videos, I now have no more brain cells left in my head.
This is some red velvet cake, which is my husband's favorite. He's having a very big birthday this year. Now I'm coming in with a pineapple cream cake. All right, we're just gonna mix a little bit our cake batter here into our other ingredients. Alrighty, y'all. We've had this cooking out here on our Blackstone for about 15 minutes. Now I'm gonna show you a really easy way. We're gonna just decorate the cake just like this. The piece of honor for the guest of honor. Yeah.
Delish. That is really hot.
Bro, what is this actual abomination I'm looking at right now? It looks like you've just murdered someone, bled them out, chucked their body onto a barbecue, and then released your homemade goon juice all over their face. So apparently it's your husband's birthday, and for his birthday surprise, you're gonna make him a cake out of a cake. You're making a cake out of a cake. Because first of all, why the frick would you chuck these store-bought cakes face first onto a barbecue? If you're making a cake out of a cake, shouldn't you just use an oven? And these were perfectly good cakes. Like, you bought them from the store. You could have just given your husband one of these. But instead, you go and waste 3 perfectly good cakes. And you can see the icing is already burning. Like, you see that brown stuff over there. Like, the icing is not meant to be in contact with this much heat. So you add your strawberries, you add some homemade special sauce, your goon juice. Maybe it's your husband's goon juice. You're secretly gonna sneak some goon juice into there so he can eat his own goon juice. Maybe you find that kind of hot. And then you go and add your own period blood to the mix. Okay, so we're eating a combination of your husband's goon juice and your own period blood. Great. But here's where it doesn't make sense. So you crush the cake in order to prepare it to add even more cake mixture. But won't that mean that this cake will be overcooked and like the cake mixture that you add will be perfectly cooked? So you're gonna combine overcooked dry cake with like perfectly cooked moist fluffy cake? But if that's the end result, why don't you just remove the old cake and just not add this to begin with? I'm pretty sure you could have made this entire thing without those 3 cakes to begin with, because this is red velvet cake mix, and so you could have just started with this and the strawberries and like the chocolate and all the other sauces without adding the previous cake. And then you combine it with, okay, I assume this is not extra, like his extra thick goon juice. I'm pretty sure this was the pineapple cake. So it really is a cake of your period blood mixed with his goon juice. And it would have saved you having to mix it with like the cake mix, like the existing cake mix. And you can see it's already burning already. But then you cover it for 10 minutes, which I feel like that might be too much. And when you open it up, bro, you can already see, like, look at the edges. The edges are completely burnt. So you see how much black burnt cake is at the bottom of this? And then to decorate it, you add even thicker goon juice. I never knew goon juice could get this thick. Bro, this literally looks like goon juice. It looks like I've just released my homemade special sauce all over someone's face. And when they take out a slice, bro, you can see, look at the bottom half of the slice. You can see how black and burnt it is down there. Meanwhile, the top is perfectly cooked, almost a bit raw. And look at the husband, bro. The husband is forced to eat this. He saw this and he did not want to eat this. He did not want to spend his birthday eating this and having diarrhea for the rest of the day.
We're going to be letting these ice creams melt down. It's just going to create a delicious breakfast that the whole family will love. So easy. All right, I'm just going to use my Hubba Beachy flippers, and I am going to just spread out my ice cream chunks because I want to make sure I'm getting them onto each one of these pieces of white bread. I'm just going to come in, give these look at that. Oh my God. We're just going to give everything a little flip here. Alrighty, I'm just going to grab a couple of pieces here, coming in with a little bit of our pure maple syrup, just a tiny bit of powdered sugar. Super easy family breakfast. You got to try it.
I think there is a very clear reason why there is no footage of anyone taste testing the actual bread. Not even she was brave enough to taste test it. Because look at that. That is burnt. In fact, that is beyond burnt. It's not rare. It's not medium rare. It's not well done. It's congratulations. Congratulations. You've just ruined a perfectly good loaf of bread. But anyways, who just chucks 3 tubs of ice cream onto their barbecue like this? That is such a waste of perfectly good ice cream. And a whole stick of butter. No, 2 whole sticks of butter as well to go along with it. I'm pretty sure ice cream already has enough butter and fat in it already. And apparently this is her family's breakfast. Bro, who eats this many calories for breakfast? I feel like you're setting up your kids for childhood obesity. I think this is meant to be French toast, but not French, it's meant to be like American toast. So the strat is to melt the ice cream and soak the bread in the ice cream and cook it, sort of like French toast. It's basically French toast, but without egg, just ice cream. And a whole lot of cinnamon as well, bro. Of course, you gotta put a whole lot of cinnamon in there as well. That would taste disgusting. Do you see how much cinnamon there is? All of that on a single slice of bread? She took so long trying to melt the ice cream that like the rest of the bread just burnt. Bro, she takes 2 minutes to melt the ice cream and she hasn't even soaked the ones down here. Of course, like no wonder why it burnt. Couldn't you have just melted the ice cream in the microwave and put it into like a bowl and then soaked the bread in there for like, I don't know, like 10 seconds and then barbecued all the bread? Because honestly, there's no issue with barbecuing bread, I don't think. But I think there's an issue with trying to melt ice cream on your barbecue. I think it would have been much better to like melt it in the microwave and then just soak it. It's like soak the bread like very briefly, just sort of how you make real French toast. Because this is what you're meant to do for French toast. You soak the bread into the egg mix. And so you could have just done this with the ice cream. You don't have to do it like the stupid way of just like melting the ice cream on the barbecue, because it would take so long to spread it that A, like the toast won't even be soaked with the ice cream, and B, by the time you soak it, it's gonna be burnt. And when you finally flip it, oh, big surprise, it's burned. Wow, I would have never guessed. I really hope you did not feed this to your kids, because bro, if your kid eats this, they're 100% getting cancer. No amount of icing sugar and maple syrup can save this. Like absolutely no way maple syrup is saving this. Perfect for a family reunion if you hate your family. I mean, you know what, it's actually not a bad strat, because say for example your family has like a lot of money, like there's a lot of inheritance money that's gonna come through. You could do this in GTA to kill off your other siblings in GTA if you wanted to receive 100% of the inheritance in GTA.
And I'm drizzling on some brown sugar that's gonna mix with this butter with these pecans, make this very caramelly, super delicious.
2 cans, sweetened condensed milk, and we're just gonna give this a jizzle right on top.
And we're just making this into a whole new dessert. I'm just gonna add the rest of my brown sugar in here. I'm just gonna come down in here with my masher, get this all mixed. This is gonna be so delicious, y'all. This is my family favorite, and we are ready. Look at this. All right, Jen, are you ready to have the best Thanksgiving dessert ever?
Yes. Oh, you've really outdone yourself.
Bro, did this lobotomy patient somehow make a pecan pie out of a pecan pie? She just turned a pecan pie into a pecan pie. Nothing was achieved here. You could have just cut up these pies and just eaten them normally to begin with. But instead you go and add all this effort just to like, what are you doing? You're trying to like multiply the pie? I guess you're technically increasing the quantity, but even then, why can't you just buy more pies? It's not like these were the last 3 pies in the store and you have to figure out some way to make more pies. I feel like this is just a very lazy way of trying to make pecan pie. But you're not only increasing the quantity, you're also increasing the unhealthiness. You're adding 3 extra whole sticks of butter. Isn't there enough butter in these ones already? And you add even more brown sugar to create that sort of like caramel sauce. Like, are you trying to speedrun diabetes or something? Like, are you intentionally trying to throw your health away? And when she pours the condensed milk onto the pies, I'm pretty sure instead of saying let's give this a drizzle, I think she says let's give this a jizzle, like a jizz. Like, bro, 100% she knows what she's doing. I guarantee this isn't even condensed milk. I guarantee it's her husband's milk. But then she goes and smashes the pies harder than her husband smashed her last night. And, bro, like, at this point, you've completely ruined it. These were 3 perfectly good pies. Now they're completely unrecognizable. At this point, it looks like my vomit. It looks like, bro, at one time I was eating a lot of tomatoes and I was, like, in my mom's car, like, and she was driving around. And then when I vomited, the tomato vomit looked like this. It looked exactly like this. And it was also, like, a bit of banana in there as well. And then she adds the oats on top to sort of act as that sort of crust layer on top of a pie, similar to this sort of crust layer on top of this perfectly good pie that she started off with. But now she's nerfed herself. She's made a pretty trash crust, no offense, because there's no crust here. Like, what crust is there? It's not even crunchy. You should have just gone to the store, bought some pastry, rolled it out, and just like laid it all on top of here and just like closed the lid. Like, you've somehow nerfed the pies, made an even worse pie, even though you've increased the quantity. You've sacrificed quality for quantity. Like, look at that. Does this look appetizing at all compared to what you could have had over here? Like, look at this thing at the start, but instead you think this is better just because it's increased quantity. Because increasing the quantity is even worse for your health, because then you're gonna feel pressured to finish this entire barbecue worth of desserts. Whereas if you only had those 3 pies to begin with, then you would only feel pressured to finish 3 pies. And even though 3 pies is a lot to finish, at least it's a whole lot less than a whole barbecue worth of pie. The USA has just created type 3 diabetes, bro. It is not type 1 diabetes that you're born with, and it's not type 2 diabetes as you develop with like unhealthy eating habits, but it's type 3. How do you develop type 3? Just like being inside the USA?
I'm just gonna start mixing and matching, dicing and cutting a little bit. Now I'm just coming in with my special Italian dinner cutter, and I'm just cutting everything into smaller pieces. Gonna give this a great little toss here. Now I'm just coming in with a bit more of my mozzarella. Alrighty, y'all. Check out our beautiful Italian masterpiece. The only thing left to do is to grab a bite of this. Oh my god, mamma mia.
Bro, I can literally hear all of the Italians screaming all the way from Italy. That's how loud they're screaming. Why the freak would you like slam pizzas directly on its face on a barbecue? You've not only ruined the pizzas, but you've just pissed off every single Italian on TikTok. Like, what's that supposed to achieve? Like, by the end of it, you don't even use the pizzas. Because can you see any pizzas here? No. So what was the point of the pizzas to begin with? You literally only added the pizzas to piss off the Italians. You could have easily made this dish without adding those pizzas at the start. I think this is meant to be some sort of like pasta dish. It's not too shabby. It's a little bit strange. The pizzas at the start are very strange, but I mean, it sort of works. Like, maybe it would have been better with a wok, but a barbecue still works with this. It's sort of like it's not like a lasagna, is it? Bro, look at that pizza just get manhandled like that. No respect at all. The disrespect is insane. And then she starts doing some random Italian accent, and she whips out the pizza cutter. Bro, the pizzas are not recognizable at all at this point. She starts cutting the pasta with a pizza cutter. Bro, you're not achieving anything. There's no point doing this. Can't you just serve the pasta normally? Like, you don't need to cut pasta. And by this point, the pizzas are probably so soggy that like you don't even need a pizza cutter. You could probably just cut it with your fingernail. But honestly, by the end, it looks not bad. Okay, I'm not gonna say it looks decent. It's definitely a pasta dish. If someone served me this, I probably wouldn't be able to tell that it was made on a barbecue, because somehow she's managed to not burn it this time. She's finally managed to not burn her food on the barbecue. But the thing is, where are the pizzas gone? Like, where have the pizzas disappeared? They've just like disappeared within like thin air. The pizzas are nowhere to be seen. The pizzas were so offended by how this woman handled them that they just unalived themselves. Bro, even the Mona Lisa is offended.